God doesn't look at the outward appearance, but he looks at the heart. See, man will look at the outward appearance. Have you ever noticed that? Man will look at the outward appearance and kind of be able to go, I can size that person up right now. Okay, they got this, they got that. They don't have this, they don't have that. Well, they don't. You know, one of the illustrations I told you, the other day, or the other week, was I'm a rap music guy. You know, I'm kind of a weird guy. I got subs in the back of my car. I'm sorry, I haven't grown up yet. I still think I'm 16. But I'll come up to a stoplight, you know, just bump, just boom, just beating, you know, and a lot of you guys some of you in here probably looked at me and go, who is this heathen? Pray for this poor soul, right? But you don't know what the words are saying in that rap music. It's Jesus, and they're rapping the word of God. And as I'm listening, I'm getting edified, and I'm getting hyped, and I'm like, yeah, you know, like I want to preach. But as you look over, you're going, oh, this poor guy. I just probably smoked about 5 bowls, and he's waiting, you know, like, what's wrong with this guy here? See, that's the outward appearance. And then some will come in and go, well, hey, they just don't have any reverence for God. I have a deep reverence for God. See, God says this. I look at the heart. I'm a human, so I can't look into your shirt and go, I see his heart. I see the outward appearance. Man looks at the outward appearance. So Paul's saying there, when you get saved, it's not about, you know, this outward show. He's also saying it's not about what job you have while you get saved. Let's get back into the text. Check this out. Verse 20. Let's pick it up. 1 Corinthians 7:20. Let each one remain in the same calling in which he was called. Were you called while a slave? Well, don't be concerned about it. But if you can be made free, okay, use it. For he who is called in the Lord while a slave is the Lord's freed man. Likewise, he who is called while free is Christ's slave. You were bought at a price. Don't become slaves of men. Verse 24, brethren, let each one remain with God in that state in which he was called. Paul is right there. What is he saying? He's saying, man, some of you guys, you were a carpenter when you came to Christ. Some of you guys were a tent maker when you came to Christ. Some of you guys were a CEO of a major corporation. Some of you worked at Subway while you got saved and you came to Christ. Some of you played football and you came to Christ. He says, remain in that calling. Here's what happens. A lot of times, this happened to me personally. I came to Christ and I just got on fire. And I'm like, man, I want to preach. I want to go save the world. I want to go do this and that. And God said, remain as a football player. Stay. I want you to be in that locker room. There are guys in that locker room that don't know Jesus. And I want to use you to be an example to those men to show them what a Christian's about. But I wanted to go save the world. I want to go in, quote unquote, full-time ministry. I want to be in this and that. He says, no. Remain in that calling. Where are you at right now? In your job, in your school. Remain in that calling. You've heard the term bloom where you're planted. Grow in there. Now, if God eventually says, hey, I want to send you a different direction, be open to that. Absolutely. But in the meantime, bloom where you're planted. Remain in that calling. I'll give you an example. My last in 2005, one of my last teams, the Georgia Force, I came into that training camp. I was a free agent, signed with them, and wanted to just start playing, end my career on a great note. Got banged up. I think I pulled like a hamstring or something in training camp. Barely made the team, and on that roster, I basically was a practice squad guy in the Arena Football League. And my immediate reaction was like, dude, I'm out of here. I'm just going to go to Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale. I'll go on staff. I'm done with this. But God was like, it's not about you, dude. We're talking eternity here. There's some guys in this locker room that need to know you. So what did I do? Every day, I would walk into that locker room and God, just give me an opportunity. Give me an opportunity to share your love. Give me an opportunity to show people who Jesus really is. Let me decrease, let you increase. Went through that season. Week 10 comes around, and they bring another guy in, and they say, Todd, you're out of here, bro. Sorry. You didn't make the cut. You're 86. Head coach brings me in and tells me that. Well, an hour later, after me and the head coach, I was like, oh, God's got another plan. It's all good. Me and the head coach are just talking about spiritual things for like an hour. Then I go home because I got to pack. You know, I got. It's no longer. See, it's something if it was just me, just kind of going all over from team to team. I got a wife. I got twin boys. I go home. I start packing up clothes. Denise is packing. She's like, she knew I was cut. She's like, oh well, get everything ready to go here. She's got everything. You know, she's organized freaky. Remember, I'm the bulk guy. I'm putting totes in the U-Haul. You know. And this guy across the street of the apartment complex we were staying in, who's on my team, probably the best defensive lineman on the team, raised in a interesting situation. Big, huge guy. Comes over, he's got the wife beater on, the Swisher Sweets, you know, in the ear. And he's like, bro, they did you wrong. I can't believe how they did you. And I said, dude, you know, God's got a plan, bro, so, you know, it's gonna be all right. He's like, man, how does life work for you? I don't understand. And he started going into his personal life and how, you know, man, my life's a wreck and this and that. And God opens up the door to share the gospel with this guy. Now, for 10 weeks, the guy didn't say anything to me, but and yet, you know what? God says, go pick up his tape. You know, we tape our ankles, so he'd rip the tape off and he'd just throw it down. Serve him. Go put it in the trash. Hey man, can I take your plate for you after a team meal or something? I'm not saying that to puff myself up, but I'm saying that to you, to challenge you guys. In your workplace, there's going to be someone that you don't like at all. You know what God's saying to you, that person? Remain in that calling where you're at and go serve God and go love him anyways. Because it's not about you and your comfortability, it's about eternity and eternal souls. Now, I don't know where he's at with the Lord right now, but God uses that. So Paul says, right back in 1 Corinthians 7, he says, man, remain in that calling which you were called. If God is going to move you on a different plan, and he'll do that. But don't get out ahead of him. A lot of times we want to make these radical things happen in our own timing. Let God do it in his timing. Verse 25. Now, concerning virgins, I have no commandment from the Lord, yet I give judgment as one whom the Lord in his mercy has made trustworthy. I suppose, therefore, that this is good because of the present distress, that it is good for a man to remain as he is. Are you bound to a wife? Well, don't seek to be loose. Are you loose from a wife? Well, don't seek a wife. But even if you do marry, well, you haven't sinned. And if a virgin marries, she has not sinned. Nevertheless, underline this, guys, such will have trouble in the flesh. But I would like to spare you. Pause right there. What is he saying? First of all, that word virgins, the Greek word is parthenoi, and it's basically someone who has never been married. Earlier on in the text, he was addressing people that had been widowed, people that had been divorced and then become single. Now he's saying virgins, people that have never been married. He's like, here's the deal, man. Jesus never really taught on this specifically, but I'm gonna address you guys because I think that's one of the questions the Corinthian church was having. I want to be able to address this topic. And he's saying, you know what? In light of everything that's going on, it's probably good that you guys just stay single. Because you know what? If you get married, there's going to be some problems. And you're going to start getting distracted in life. He says, we don't have time for this, man. Now, picture yourself, get back in that culture of that day. The church was getting just attacked right and left. In fact, if you look at it, do your research. The 12 disciples, every single one of them, save John, were martyred for their faith. I'm talking crucified upside down. Tradition goes that Peter said, I'm not worthy to be crucified like Jesus was. Turn me upside down. Tarred and feathered, you name it, these guys were getting taken out. There was crazy attack on the church in that time. And Paul's like, man, in light of all this going on, we don't have time to be worrying about this and that. Let's get focused on the Lord. He can come back at any time. Let's spread the gospel. People need to get saved. He says in verse 27, are you bound to a wife? Don't seek to be loose. Are you loose? Don't seek a wife. What is he saying there? Are you wife? Or are you married? Are you married? Are you bound to a wife? Are you married? Well, don't seek a divorce. Are you loosed? Are you single? Don't seek a wife. There's way more things to get done. Let me address this. I'm not a big fan of quote-unquote Christian single websites. Now, God can use anything he wants to use. I'm not saying that at all. But here, I just want to